Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your October 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. I am back in my more or less home base in the States in California after bouncing around Europe for a few months. And thank you to those of you who continue to watch and listen and follow and subscribe to my channel, regardless of what corner of the globe I might be exploring. We do live in an extraordinary world, and I do really like to explore that world. So thanks to the internet, I still continue to post and work wherever I'm at. So thank you for those who continue to follow me on those journeys as well. And thank you for those of you who continue to keep me so busy with personal one-on-one readings, and to my regular clients as well. And if any of you are interested in a one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage. I know YouTube's changed its format again, but you should still be able to go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the About or Description button for more information, and my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do readings full time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So turnaround time for readings, live or recorded, is within a 1 to 3 week period of time. Almost always we can set something up for you in that period of time. So if you're interested, send me an email and we'll set something up for you. I do a wide variety of readings: love and romance, of course, compatibility charting for relationships, career, work, and finance. I do 6 and 12-month career overviews, and I also do 6 and 12-month life overviews, which explores all the main sectors of your life for 6 or 12 months in advance. I also do channeled messages from loved ones and cleansings too. So if you're interested, send me an email. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos as well. Sometimes you may find that they resonate a little more predictively for you. And just by watching all three, if you know them and if you can give you additional insight and clarity into what's going on in your life. All right, moving right along, this reading is for the earth sign of Taurus for October 2017. Our Taurians, our beloved bulls. Let us see what October 2017 has in store for Taurus. Okay, Taurus, we begin with Justice, followed by the Three of Cups. Lovely celebratory energy there. Next to that, we have the Nine of Swords, followed by the Four of Swords, the Five of Wands, followed by the King of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands, followed by Death or Transformation. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the Ten of Wands. Since we are exploring the month in its entirety of October 2017, even though I'm recording these in the last week of September, I'm pulling the traditional 2 cards for each week, time being somewhat fluid, as I always say. I can see right off the bat, Taurus, that for most, if not all of you watching this, it looks like a triumphant month for you. It looks like the ending of something in your life, which has been kind of a heavy burden for you. A definite ending to that, or a successful resolution, definitely a reprieve for some of you. Of course, there's so many of you watching. That's why we always advise you check your rising and your moon sign as well for clarification or more predictive resonating, because there's thousands of you watching. Of course, it's not going to mean the same thing to the same degree and intensity for all Tauruses watching, or everybody watching for Tauruses. Because you're all different, have different things going on in your life. The area of your life this resonates in may vary. For some of you, it may be relationship, others work and career, some of you spirituality. But as I always say, the energy fundamentally remains the same. So we begin with Justice and the Three of Cups. So Justice is the reap what you sow card, major arcana energy. What you put into something is directly going to reflect the outcome and consequences of it. And it means that the outcome will be fair, which may not necessarily be everything that you want or exactly what you want, but it means that it's fair and equitable based on what preceded it, which is where that saying justice is blind comes from, because it's not supposed to be based on emotion or what we want or wish or hope for, but on our actual decisions, our actions, our proven motivation. actions, what we actually did. So the cautionary advice with justice is, of course, to, particularly in legal issues, operate with as much transparency as possible, adhering to as strongly as possible to whatever your personal code of ethics, honor, and integrity is. In the upright position, it also implies contracts and negotiations working out well in business. In legal issues, it would represent favorable outcomes, a fair and equitable. Now it's accompanied by the Three of Cups, water energy. The energy of the suit of cups is governed by the element of water, so it usually reflects in that watery material world of our feelings, emotions, and relationships. The Three of Cups is a celebratory card. There's a strong social theme to this card. It's sometimes referred to as the party card. It does represent going out, having a good time, celebrating perhaps with other people, with friends, but not just anybody. These are like people that get you, a kindred spirit kind of friends, kinship, sisterhood, brotherhood, you know, and paired with the justice, it looks like I feel like a lot of you are just going to be celebrating something. I mean, your overall energy is the Ten of Wands, which represents a burden coming to an end, something cycling to an end, because tens represent uh, a cycling down, a coming to an end as well. So some kind of situation, burden, relationship even, coming to an end or to a successful resolution. It does look like it's going to be fair and equitable. Justice in the upright position implies that it's going to be favorable for you, and that there's a sense of celebrating, of hanging around, of being with your friends, maybe even literally having a party to celebrate whatever the end of this is. For those of you who have been going through legal issues, whether or not, some of you it may be a complete successful resolution. Some of you it may still be an ongoing issue, an ongoing process, but it looks like maybe the end of September, the first part of October, it looks like there will be at least something happening, which is the cause of celebration. Could also be that the support and feedback of your friends, and perhaps even tangible assistance of your friends, have helped create an equitable outcome, a favorable and just outcome as well. Now, next to that, we have the Nine of Swords, followed by the Four of Swords. This message just kind of continues to echo throughout your reading for October 2017, Taurus. I really like it. It's kind of like I'm feeling like a triumph, a victory after struggle kind of feeling. Again, and I'm feeling this because for some of you, there's going to be just an outright end, an outright resolution. For others of you, it's still ongoing, but there's definitely some significant positive improvement in whatever the situation is this month. So the Nine of Swords, swords is air energy. That's the element which governs the suit of swords. And this suit is mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's about what goes on up in our heads, how we look at things, how we think about things, our outlook, perspective, perceptions, our belief systems, and how that affects the way that we communicate. The Nine of Swords is a card straight up of a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, self-doubt, fear. If tens are the end of a cycle, nines, I mean, this is pretty ramped up stuff, but it's somewhat illusionary, meaning that while the source of your fears and anxieties may be valid, the Nine of Swords usually shows up when things have been, when you're blowing up things in your head to be much bigger and much worse than is actually reflected in the reality of the situation. And it also, this card showing up represents that you're focusing so much on the source of your anxiety, fear, stress, that you're not actually seeing a solution or insight or a path or a resolution, which might be right in front of you or very close to you, which is what this little owl symbolizes in this picture. This woman is, you know, sitting up late at night, the moon's risen high in the sky, everybody else is probably sleeping, but she's awake. She's hunched over in kind of a protective, defensive gesture, and she's completely focused on whatever the source of her fear, stress, anxiety, and worry is. So much so that she's not noticing this owl, which is very close to her. Owls being one of those universal symbols, because everything on a tarot card is symbolic. Owls are one of those universal symbols of wisdom, insight, clarity, And it's right close to her. It's almost right in front of her, but she's not looking at it. She can't see it because she's focused only on the negative, only on what's going wrong, what could go wrong, etc. So way too much energy put into focusing only on the negative and not on possible solutions. And also the fact that it's in the Suit of Swords represents that you may need, instead of, being so consumed by the emotions of the situation, that you may need to focus a little more on, okay, what's logic? What's practicality here? Let me use my intellect here, because that is an extraordinary weapon to battle fears and doubts and insecurities, actually looking at something and listing what is rather than what we're fearing. So, however, it's accompanied by the Four of Swords, which I love seeing because this is a card of retreat, withdrawal from conflict, from chaos, from strife. It can also show up when you're feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, exhausted, needing to take a step back, withdraw for a bit, maybe go within, seek out some insight or guidance, which is what this soldier has done. Sometimes it can imply that it's just a break from a challenge or a conflict or a struggle or project of some kind, because he's still dressed for battle. But for the time being, he's not engaged. He's taking a time out. So for some of you, of course, how the specifics play out are going to vary because there's so many of you watching. For some of you for whom this is still an ongoing situation, there's something happening probably in the beginning of the month of October, which is showing such significant progress, positive progress, something's happening, that it's enabling you to get a reprieve. It's a very positive something that's happened within this situation. And it's enabling you to get a break from all of this seemingly unending mental stress, anxiety, worry, and fear about it. For some of you for whom there is a complete positive resolution to the situation in October, it looks like you may just need to take some time out to kind of rest, recuperate, recover from this. It looks like the ending of this is going to provide a certain amount of that as well. Rest, respite, restoration, take care of yourself. It looks like whatever this was, it really took a lot out of you. I mean, your crowning card is the Ten of Wands, which represents a burden coming to an end, but it's been a really, really heavy burden. So next to that, we have an almost similar message. We have the Five of Wands, followed by the King of Pentacles, which I'm feeling for the majority of you is you. It could also represent another earth sign individual that may be playing a significant or influencing role or factor in this situation in the month of October. It's showing up as a male, but it could be a female too, because this is a general reading, or it could be a male aspect of a female that comes out in this particular situation. But it could represent another earth sign individual: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Kings and Queens represent individuals who've reached the mastery of their suit. So this is somebody very grounded. This is Earth, remember. For Pentacles, Pentacles is governed by the element of Earth. So solid, steady, reliable, generous, hardworking. The King of Pentacles is probably financially comfortable, if not well off, because he's very good at navigating the day-to-day tangible aspects of the world we live in, particularly finances, work, investments, etc. Somebody who's generous, somebody who is has a good, solid, stable foundation underneath them, and believes that everybody ought to have the same opportunities, that they've had to build that as well. Pentacles is earth energy, so the energy of this suit usually reflects in the tangible aspects of our life: money, finances, resources, property, etc. You can translate that energy in relationships and spirituality. But even then, it's about a lot of effort, tangible work, hard work, tangible results of the efforts we put into something. But I'm feeling like for the majority of you, this is what has actually been part of your success and part of what's helped keep you rooted, stable, and balanced throughout this situation, that it's drawing on the inherent traits that your sign already possesses, all that lovely earth energy, to combat, negate, and deal with whatever this conflict has been, because that King of Pentacles is crowned by the Five of Wands, which is a card, can be a card of conflict, external or internal, or combination of both. Fives do represent that numerically too: conflict, strife, opportunities for change. Wands is fire energy. That's the element which governs the suit of wands. So it's a very active suit. The energy is very active, action oriented, forward moving. It's all about change, movement, action power. It's creating, building, manifesting too. The energy of the suit of wands can sometimes show up in regards to career, artistic or creative endeavors, because it's all about building and creating and manifesting. It's always in motion. So the five of wands can represent conflict, and I feel like it probably has for, well, it has for most, if not all of you. External conflict, internal conflict. It represents, though, a kind of circular conflict, and not huge either. I mean, the men here are sparring. They're not really out for blood. They're not really out to get each other. These are practice weapons. So if it's external conflict with another person or within a group of people, it's kind of petty. It's kind of like the same argument coming up over and over again, or internal, just kind of chewing on the same thing over and over again, around and around and around, with no apparent solution. Nobody winning, nobody losing, but it just going around and around and around again, which is interesting because that five of wands, that conflict energy, is right next to the nine of swords. And I often get a sense of circular thoughts in the nine of swords too, just kind of thinking on the same thing, overdwelling, around and around, your thoughts just kind of chewing themselves like a dog chasing its own tail. But it looks like there's an end to that, at the very least, a reprieve for some of you from that in a positive, forward-moving way. And for others of you, it's a complete resolution of that. For those of you for whom it's an ongoing situation, even though there's some very positive things happening which are going to influence and affect the outcome of this situation, this ongoing situation, for those of you for whom it's ongoing. There's a bit of advice here about withdrawing from conflict or trying not to engage in conflict as much as possible. Being who you are, being that King of Pentacles in regards to conflict, not all over the place, just kind of rooted in what you know your truth is. For those of you that have achieved a complete resolution, it's part of your own manifesting your own inherent characteristic traits of your suit. That has kind of won you this stability. And if there's still residual, conflict or flack going on about it, just remain grounded in your truth. Now, at or towards the end of October 2017, we have the Two of Wands, followed by death or transformation. This is a great combination of energy. The Two of Wands is a card basically about long-term goals, looking down the road, thinking down the road. It's about, twos are a card of duality, crossroads, choice as well. So this represents, you can see a man standing and he's come to a crossroads here and he's trying to figure out which path to take. Do I go left? Do I go right? The key to choosing the right path is in knowing exactly where it is you want to go and having very firmly formed definitive goals. So this is about long-term goals and thinking. It's not really about thinking about what you have now or what you're doing now, but really, where do I want to go? What's my end picture? What's my long-term goal? So it's about long-term thinking and planning, because how do you know what road to take? How do you know what decisions and choices to make if you don't know where you're going? You wouldn't even know it when you got there. So it's about looking down the road, setting your goals, setting them very clearly and definitively in your mind, because that will make the path to them much clearer. So long-term thinking and planning here. Now, it's accompanied by death or transformation, as I like to call it, because death, makes some people clench up just the word. It's about transformation. It is about significant, profound endings, because this is major arcana card, major energies of God, Spirit, your angels and guides. Death represents an ending, a dying out, a clearing, a complete clearing away from the ground, or a complete and utter transformation of something that's already there, so that birth can recur, because birth always follows death, beginnings always follow endings. That's why there needs to be an ending. The ground needs to be completely cut out, weeded out, everything gone, so that you can look at what's there and plant new seeds to grow new things, so that rebirth can occur. Death represents the clearing out of everything, or a transformation of things in preparation for rebirth. So paired with the Two of Wands, this is going to reflect a few different ways depending on what's going on in your life. For some of you, are experiencing a complete resolution of this issue in October. It has transformed or changed your long-term thinking and goals, or when it's all said and done, maybe after everything's kind of died down at the end of the month. And this is for those of you for whom this is ongoing too. You may be this is advice for some of you to take a look at what your long-term goals are and change them completely or utterly if you're not doing that already, or transform what's there. What have your long-term goals in this situation been, or what have your long-term goals been, period, in whatever area of your life this is manifesting in? Do you need to change those? Do they still fit who you are now moving forward from this situation? It looks like a clearing out, a rebirth, a transformation needs to happen in regards to where you're going long term. So keep that in mind, Taurus. Your overall energy and guidance is a 10 of Wands. So 10s representing the ends of cycle. This is something coming to an end, a heavy burden, as you can see. And I always feel like it's often a long-standing issue, because I feel like this man, and for you, maybe this started out as just 1 wand or 2 wands, and then it became 3 wands, 4 wands, 6 wands, 8 wands, 10 wands. It's a heavy burden. It could be a project or a challenge, something you've been working at a long time. It could be a literal, cross you've had to bear, something very difficult. You've been carrying it successfully, as this man is, but it's so heavy he can't even stand up straight. But we're at the end. We're at the 10 here. His head is up. He's looking at his destination, that place where he can finally lay his burden down, stand up and take a deep breath and be free of it. So something is coming to an end. It's cycling to an end, which always represents opportunities for change, rebirth, growth, moving forward, new paths and new opportunities, particularly in what your long-term goals are, which looks like they need to change and transform in a pretty significant way. So a pretty powerful month, Taurus, overall. But again, that sense of triumph and victory and forward movement, and being able to release yourself from burdens, from stress, from anxiety, and maybe taking better care of yourself as well, recovering, recuperating, spending some time with friends. A healthy social life is going to help. It looks like there's equality, justice, vindication, perhaps for some of you, and legal issues as well for the month of October 2017. So Taurus, thank you very much. This pretty much wraps up your October 2017 reading. Thank you for watching it. I hope that you found it helpful, useful, food for thought, insight. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the About or Description button for more information, and my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. That's MAGGIE, 1, MCGUIRE@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the October 2017 mid-month readings. And until then, Taurus, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.